We got a historic episode today. Coming up, interviews with two legends that we've lost over the last few years. One was one of the most successful songwriters in history. He gave Lennon and McCartney all the competition they could handle at their peak. And another is with the last remaining member of a Hall of Fame music group. And they both tell the story behind several of their biggest hits in this group, including their first #1 hit that came from this famous songwriter's grandpa. There were the pet names that he used to flirt with the women who would come by to get their hair cut by his wife, who was a hairdresser. After it hit #1, the band's former label put out their early material to capitalize on their popularity and steal their new label's thunder, so they needed a good follow-up single to head off this threat. So they took this #1 hit and they played it backwards, putting new lyrics to it, and it hit the top 5. An almost carbon copy, and it wiped this other song off the charts. You're going to see what I mean coming up next. Hey, music junkies, Professor of Rock, always here to celebrate the greatest artists and the greatest songs of all time. You know, if you believe that a song is the closest thing we have to a time machine in this world, you're going to love this channel. It's deep musical nostalgia. Make sure to subscribe below right now. Click the bell, click the red button so you always know when our latest and greatest come out. Also, our t-shirt of the day, Stevie Ray Vaughan. Get yours below or at the link here, 80stees.com. The coolest t-shirts you'll ever find. Also, check us out on Patreon for even more content. Yeah, I'm really excited for this episode today because it's two legends that we've lost over the last few years. It's an episode from our series Revelations, where featured artists reveal rare stories about their biggest songs alongside the fascinating insight about their careers. A lot of information and stories you won't hear anywhere else. Today, like I said, a legendary set of interviews and a story that's pretty hard to believe. The legendary team of Holland, Dozier, Holland, which was brothers Eddie and Brian Holland, and then Lamont Dozier, they wrote over a dozen #1 hits in the 60s alone for everyone from the Supremes to today's group, the Four Tops. They definitely gave Lennon and McCartney a run for their money in that time period and single-handedly took Motown to one of the top labels of the decade.
Can't hurry, love. No, you just have to wait. She said, I'll be back with the love like a heat wave, burning in my heart.
Today, we have the late Lamont Dozier and the late Duke Fakir. He was the last remaining member of the Four Tops. He just passed away in July of 2024, and Lamont a few years back. They're telling the story of the Tops' first #1 hit, I Can't Help Myself, Sugarpie Honeybunch. And its amazing follow-up, It's the Same Old Song.
It's the same old song, but with a different...
Which are essentially the same song. Let me explain. So originally, the Four Tops were signed to Columbia Records in 1960, and they released one single for Columbia, Ain't That Love.
And watch out, ain't that love, now pretty baby, say I can't think of nothing.
So after I Can't Help Myself became a #1 hit, Columbia re-released Ain't That Love to capitalize on the band's success. Now this set a fire under Motown. They desperately needed a follow-up so that Columbia couldn't jump in and steal their thunder. So they had their crackshot team of Holland, Dozier, Holland come up with a new song. I think it was like at 2 or 3 in the morning. They had to get it out pronto. It was essentially a rewrite. Listen to this. It was a rewrite with a hilarious title, It's the Same Old Song. It was recorded and pressed in just one day. Now, this wasn't the 21st century. This was the 60s. It hit the top 5 and it knocked the rival label song out of the competition. Now, lead singer Levi Stubbs actually hated the song, I Can't Help Myself. He thought the lyrics were really sugary and banal. He hated it, but he was told he would get another shot to record it with better lyrics. That never happened as the song had to be put out and it went to #1.
Can't help myself, 'cause I love you and nobody.
So many other great stories with these guys. Here's the interview. Well, let's talk about I Can't Help Myself. It was the R&B single of the year by Billboard that year.
I can't help myself.
The bass figure on that song has been borrowed so many times.
That's the first thing that would catch you, and to me, that created the whole song.
Well, I was sitting at the piano again, being that I was primarily the idea man at the time. And
usually, you get an idea of a song, but when we heard the basic rhythm track of that song with them fooling around with the lead, we knew, this song. I said, wow, look at that bass line. This song is going to be a killer.
Well, Lamont was telling me that he came up with his grandfather used to call the beautiful ladies, hey, hello, sugar pie, hello, honey bunch, and that's where he got it from.
Well, I'd heard that expression, not totally together, but sugar pie, well, guys used to say that all the time. I don't know about that honey bunch. I never used it, but sugar pie was always, for the little cuties, hey, sugar pie.
Well, I actually got it from my grandfather. He used to sit around and he used to flirt with the women coming into my grandmother's home beauty shop. And he's working and piddling in the garden and he's hi, good morning, sugar pie. How you doing, honey bunch? And I was a kid living here and I used to see him watch it because he used to fascinate me. How he do this flirting with these women. And it was funny to me. I was a boy, 9 years old. But that thing stayed in my mind when he said, good morning, sugar pie. How you doing, honey bunch? And they said, oh, you stop it, the women. And I'm sitting there looking at him and saying, wow. And I'm looking in this big bay window, and my grandmother doing the people's hair and stuff. She looking at him, she knew what he was doing. She said, knowing he was flirting with these women. This particular time, that stayed with me when he said that, sugar pie, honey bun. And when I was in the studio and I was just reminiscing, thinking about him, and my left hand was the dun 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 dun. I don't know, I felt like that was his theme. I mean, that I wrote for him, because he sounded like that. Dun, 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 boom, 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 boom. Then it just all of a sudden I said, sugar pie, honey bun, because I was hearing him saying this thing with this bass line.
I'd read, places that Levi was not sure about it, and Eddie says, this is going to be a hit.
Yeah, right.
You just simmer down.
Because he wanted Lawrence to do it. Yeah. And Lawrence said, no, I mean, and the rest of the guys said, man, you get in there and saying this stuff and stop fooling around, man. Not effing around. And do this song, man.
I remember when I first heard the words, I thought they were cute. I said, that's some cute words, I said, I hope they, is strong enough to go with that bass line, with it, And I liked it right away. He probably think it was a little too kiddish, and you might have just listened to it first with nothing around it, just listen to the words, with no bass line or something, sugar pie, honey bun. He's probably say, man, that's too corny, or something, But I didn't hear him say that, and I never did. I never did think of it like that. I just thought it was unique. I said, yeah, this is unique, That just showed how different we all are, but when it came together, we thought alike.
These guys were like, it wasn't about who's the best one to lead. They were like a team.
Oh, yeah.
That's why they were together for 40 years or more,
What's going to be best for the song?
What's going to be good for the group?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what they were thinking, but they were, none of that ego who's out front, none of that. Anyway, it happened, and Levi became the standout lead singer for the group.
You know that I love you.
There's so much energy in that song that when you guys sang it, when you recorded it, you must have felt, man, this is gonna be huge. We
knew it. We just couldn't wait to hear it. out in the street or coming off a car or, coming out of the stores. And that's just what it did. Everywhere you went, you could hear that song. If you're riding down the street in the summertime with your window down, if you pass somebody, that song would be coming out at you. That was, to me, a true, and it was a world hit. That's what it was.
I mean, you replaced yourselves at number one.
That's right.
With that, yeah.
That's right.
And the only other people that ever done that is the Beatles and Boyz II Men.
Yeah, that's right.
Not only then, but now, I mean, when Forrest Gump used it, I thought that was great because Forrest Gump used all the music from those times of our culture that were so important as the soundtrack. Dolly Parton did a cover of it. Madonna did a cover of it on her 87 tour. She used to cover it. Well, it peaked at number 23 in the UK in the summer of 65, and then it went to the top 10 again on a re-release in 1970.
Yeah, it did. I know it was a double release there. Yeah, and it is still one of the favorites anywhere we go.
When I call your name, girl, it starts the flame burning in my heart.
We were extremely happy. In fact, we all were so taken by the chart busting of that particular song that we didn't, which we always had, we didn't prepare a follow-up. We did not prepare, it was when it was coming off of number one in Billboard that Barry came to us and said, fellas, it's going down to number 5. And we don't have a follow-up, do we?
It's the same old song. This is one of my favorite ever music stories about how, Barry got word that Columbia was going to release.
That's right.
The song, Ain't That Love.
And watch out, ain't that love now, pretty baby, say I can't think of nothing.
Barry came into the studio sort of like in a panic, man, because the other song was dropping on the charts. And Columbia had waited for an avenue to drop this song that the Tops had in the can, previously when they were with them.
When you say that you're depending on me, I feel as strong as a big old...
Okay, but I knew it was a rush. That I remember, because he wanted that out before Can't Help Myself fell off the charts, all the way.
Barry running, hey man, you guys got to come up with something. These guys trying to jump on the bandwagon here. I said, I got a title I've been working on. It's the same old song, but it's a different meaning since you've been gone. He said, good, great, man, whatever it is, get it cut right away.
It's the same old song, but with a different...
But it was really Holland, Dozier and Holland. They got it together, called us in.
But you turned the bass figure around from I Can't Help Myself.
Yeah, that's all. Exactly right.
It's the same old song.
And that's where they got the title from.
Well, you turned the bass figure around.
Turning the bass figure all around.
You're sweet.
Yeah, that was so interesting because we all, when we first heard it, that's the first thing Lawrence, he's turning it around. Listen to these motherfuckers. Excuse the expression.
And when I got down with Jameson and I used to be in the same band together. And so we were tight. He knew exactly what I was, he felt me. He knew what I was trying to do. Because he'd take the bass figure when I say, hey, man, if we could turn this and do this and blah, 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 dun, 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 dun. He said, okay, fine. But then he would add stuff, some little extra stuff.
Oh, yeah.
To make it sound smooth and
one of the
real.
greatest bassists of all time.
Oh, man.
No question.
Because when that figure like dun 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 dun, dun, dun when he would play it, if you had a bass player that was just so, you could Jameson to take it and make it sound like, whoa, you know what I mean? The feeling to it.
Oh, yeah.
He had a certain kind of way of feeling stuff to just bring out the feel, the essence of the song.
You guys had it within about 24 to 48 hours.
That's right. We had it.
You recorded it. took the 1,500
right.
copies of it, took them to
Yeah,
the radio
that's
stations,
right.
and
And
by
mashed.
Monday, they were all in the stores.
Yeah.
Number 5 hit.
That's right.
And the day it was released, I mean, I think it went within a day or two. It went like the 20 or something like that. It went. Well, I know it went way up quick.
You beat Columbia, man.
Oh, yeah.
Their song went to number 93.
Yeah.
Yours went to number 5.
Yeah, right.
So
And that was very pleasurable. I mean, just to beat Columbia. I mean, from this little rinky-dink company, supposedly, they were saying, and we just like mashed them, man, you know, and crushed them
yeah.
with that song. You know.
Straight up the charts. That didn't go to number 1, but it was a great follow-up.
It's the same old song, but with a different.
You know, we never got a Grammy either, but that's all right. That's all right. We got to us what we thought was a great one, and that's Lifetime Achievement Grammy Award.
It's very, very prestigious, bigger than just a regular Grammy.
I was extremely happy, and to me, that made up for all the ones we missed. In fact, you won't believe this. It was just about Christmas time, and I was talking to my son on the phone, and we was talking about all the wonderful things that has happened to the Four Tops and awards and all. And I said, but you know what? I call him Dula. I said, but there's one thing, man, that as many awards as we have, and believe me, I treasure them all. I said, but we never got a Grammy, and I don't know if we're ever going to get one. And he said, man, don't worry about it. That ain't, for what you all have done and the awards you've gotten, you should be happy. I said, well, I am happy. Don't get me wrong. but, but that's missing. That's one of the greatest recording awards you can have, if not the greatest. 2 days later, my phone rang. Is this Duke Fakir? I said, yeah. He said, this is Mr. Portnoy, president of the Grammy Association. He said, we just want to say we are awarding you all this year the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Wow.
I was breathless.
2 days after you talked about
I
it.
swear. And tears was coming out of my eye. And I said, oh, man. I said, thank you so much. He said, I'll we'll get all the particulars together, but I just wanted personally to tell you all that. And I called my son right after that. I said, Dula, you're not going to believe this. And I told him what happened, man. And I was crying when I told him that. I said, man, this is like heaven on earth.
And thanks so much for watching. Leave us a comment about the Four Tops. Their classic Motown hit, I Can't Help Myself. And it's the same old song. Great stories. What are your memories of these songs? What are your favorite versions outside of the Four Tops? There's been so many different cover versions. If you like our content, we invite you to subscribe. We'd love to have you as part of our community. Till next time, free chords and the truth, my friends.